Everybody, Spegtacular, the Silver Stacular, taking a little trip down memory lane. I want to go over some of these pieces with you that I've produced. I've had the idea, I put it on paper, boom, made it into silver and other little pieces throughout the history of my channel on YouTube. And I just want to, talk about some things that you might find out there at your local coin shop, your local coin show. Some of this stuff ends up on, the auction sites, kind of a crazy price in some cases. And I just kind of want to, go over some of my designs and things that I've been able to make for, my channel. One of the original pieces is right here. This is one of the pieces that MK Bars actually helped put out. And he actually helped a lot of channels put out these pieces right here. So if you see something like that with that design and some weird, channel logo or something like that on there, you might want to grab these if you find these, because these are very, very expensive in the secondary market. I've had people offer me over $300 for some of these pieces. It's kind of crazy. An ounce of silver. I know, silver is silver, Spegtacular. I get it. But this is my original logo with 6-pointed star and In God We Trust on there. This is the prototype, so this is the very first one that MK Bars actually sent out to each channel as a gift for getting them involved in this little, project, right? This little community channel project. It was a very fun. Big shout out to MK Bars for putting that together. He didn't have to do that, but he was a real good guy. I think that if we ended up selling one of these, if one sold, I think we ended up getting like $2 or $3 on each one. It wasn't a money maker by any means. It was just a, hey, move some silver and let's have fun, building a little community project. And so that was really cool. I'd like to say that for my channel, I think probably 100 or so is out there. And so not a whole heck of a lot. For this one right here, I believe the 200 out there, and this is the second version. And you can see that I went to a 5-point star, which is something I'm more familiar with. But this is the secondary piece. So this is the second of the channel rounds. And again, MK Bars did this. Really good guy. And those are pretty desirable as well. If you find one, it can do pretty well for you. And that's my goal, is to help you make a little money if you can. Let's see. And some of this stuff right here is stickers and magnets and business cards. With my business card, if you ever find these, it's just a business card, nothing too special. But I have been changing these over the year. 85,000 subscribers. I changed that depending on how many subscribers I have at the time. So you'll see that number on some of the old business cards be a lot less. Same thing with the views and the video count. I change those periodically. But here's one of my magnets I designed right here. And it's just for fun, here for the old white ladies, which only means Morgan and peace dollars, you guys and gals. Some people get offended by some weird things. I don't get it. Which is probably why some of my pieces end up in coin shops and coin shows, because people get offended by something I do or say, and then, we can't be friends anymore, so I got to sell all spectacular stuff. But it's kind of sad. We're not going to always agree on everything. We're people, aren't we? And here are the 5 dies that MK Bars would have had to make my pieces. I'm going to show you here in a second, but I have all 5 of the dies, and those are very expensive to make, I promise you. But you can see the coin guy, which came first. That was my design right there. And obviously my logo right here. And they're all backwards, of course, because the die has to be backwards for it to print normal. And then you can see here is Time Flies, so mind your business. And then I have my 50 BMG type right there. And then the Addicted to Silver, so the Unleash Your Addiction piece. And actually, I have this as well, which is the error for the Unleash Addiction, because originally MK Bars kind of messed up and made one backwards. I'm going to show you that piece here in a second, but let's try to go in order. The first piece, again, my design, was the coin guy, silver round. And I believe that these were probably out there to the tune of around 300 or so. So again, MK Bars minted, and you can see my logo on this side right here. But this was my design that I came up with, and I thought, hey, it has everything that I need for, kind of representing coin guy. This is one piece right here out of all of the ones, and I went through every single one, that had a little error. So you can see the extra silver right there, which is probably not extra silver. It was probably just offset when it was pressed in the die. So cool little error, if you will, and I kept that. I believe that this would have been next right here. And you can see the Unleash Addiction. Only 20 of these got out, and that was my doing. I thought, you know what, let's get these out just for fun, for people that want a little error. So you can see that everything is backwards right here because he made a correct die. Let's just say that I say correct, I mean like the die would have read perfectly. So when he stamped it out on something, it would have been backwards. So oopsie daisy. And it was only the one side that got, the error because this die was correct. Just kind of a fun little piece. This was actually sold to me very recently for like $43, I believe. I was happy to get it because that's just a cool little piece of channel history. And also my COAs have changed. So this is the original COA, as you can see, has the black and the white. And then the new COAs will be all black. So I had to make my own new COA for this piece right here because the person that sold it, I guess, didn't have the COA with it. Then we got the situation corrected, and I told MK, it was funny, I was like, hey, look at the silver you sent me. And I said, look at the problem with it. He goes, oh, it's backwards. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I didn't pay for backwards silver. We got to fix that. But I did, release 20. And so 20 are out there somewhere. So if you see this right here, this image, look and see if it's backwards, because I would say the backwards is much more rare. Because this regular is, I think it's about 100 minted or so on that. Some of the mintage numbers have escaped me at this time, and I think I've got them written down on Spegtacular.com. I've tried my best to keep track of everything. Again, 100 minted right here of the time fly, so mind your business. So when I got into the Fujio Sense, I was inspired to make something like this. And so again, this is my design. It's nothing crazy. It's not like some kind of great design. It's just something based on all those coins and all that stuff, that interested me at the time. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to make it. And there should be the right amount of rings. Should be 50 rings around there. I was like, when I was talking to MK, I was like, hey, we got to make sure there's 50 rings. And we both counted. We both believe that I got it right. Let's see, what's next? Here's a couple pieces. The 50 BMG piece that I designed. I kind of enjoyed that right there. Kind of neat, This is one that actually toned up a little bit, so I toned that one. Purposely toned, of course. And this is one that I etched. So some of the pieces that MK had made had some like little dinks and scratches, and they didn't look great in my opinion. So I'm like, I don't want to sell those. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna mess it up even more. So I'd either tone them to death, or I would just like scratch them up purposely like this in this little way of doing it. This little etching into it. So bada bing. Let's see. I've made some poker chips, and I have two different kinds of poker chips. I have a clay and a ceramic. So here is your clay, and your harder to get for some reason is ceramic. And there you go. And just different designs and different colors. And on the clay, I ended up doing different backings too, where it was like different coins, different US coins. We have a design right here that I came up with. I have a thing for the older women. Again, nothing, no offense. It's just about Morgan dollars and peace dollars. Here's another design that I came up with based off of somebody else who was selling actual raunchy stickers on their stream. I said, hey, can I use the idea of raunchy sticker? And they said, yeah, it's fun. So I put I love raunchy coins, and I censored out the the boobas from these ladies right here, which I thought was just hilarious. It was just for fun. So another one of my little designs right there. This is a newer style sticker. And so I had very few of those, but it's like a newer logo, idea that, because I'm from Florida and stuff, and the things that I believe in are just kind of on this sticker. So I thought that was kind of fun. West Side Stacker helped me make that. Also, speaking of West Side Stacker, he, through my ideas, helped me come up with a bar for me and Coin Guy. So you can see right here, this is one of the bars, and there are a Type 1 and a Type 2 reverse. This is the Type 1 reverse, which you can see how it looks. The Type 2 reverse is more like a diamond all the way around it, all through it. So kind of that style. And then there's rumors of a Type 3 coming out one day, so be on the lookout for that. The Type 1 is the most minted of all of them. I believe it's like around 250-ish. That exist, and regular, just BU, nothing on them. Now there are 10 numbered and antiqued beyond that limit. And there's also 3 in existence that look just like what you see right here that have the enameling on them. So this is one of 3. So I kept one for myself. Very expensive if you were to find one of those. I tell you what, people have offered me a pretty penny for it. Sometimes it's not about the money, it's about me keeping a piece here or there just for fun. My personal silver is all out there. Once in a while you can find it on secondary markets. I find it in coin shops, all kinds of stuff. You know, I love doing poured silver. I just don't have a lot of time. If you find a piece that has no date on it whatsoever, that is my first year pouring. So those I would say have a little bit higher of a desirability. And it's a very, very small amount that I poured that first year. Also, the second year was not very many. And it was actually thanks to Captain Coda over on Instagram. He was like, hey, I like your silver. He's like, you should put the date on there. I'm like, you know what? I should put the date on there so that way I can remember when I actually made this stuff. So now I kind of use, sometimes I use the regular date, like for this year, 2025, I'll put on there. But most of the time I use the Roman numeral date. So MMXXV for 2025, as you can see right here. Now in, again, first year issue, no date whatsoever on them. So you know that's the first year. And then the 2024 is very specific because I actually had a special little stamp, and you can see MMXXIV for 2024. I had a special stamp just for 2024 pieces. So that's the way it looks right there. So if you see that, it's 2024, and it's a special stamp, like I said, only for that year. I actually, yesterday, I went and smashed the stamp against my anvil, and I was doing all kinds of crazy things trying to ruin it so they could never be used again. Because I thought, oh man, if that was, if it got out somewhere and people put that on pieces, they could pass it off as an older piece. So I didn't want that. Let's see. I can go to this piece next. So there's been many collabs that I've had throughout the history. And I say many, but like, I don't know, probably less than 10. Let's see, I've had collabs with MK Bars and me, so you might see some pieces that have my logo like this, and then the MK Bars logo there. There's some pieces between me and Empire Precious Metals, so you'll see this piece right here, and then Empire Precious Metals logo there. Let's see, who else? Dope Cat, me and him, found him on Instagram. He's a cool dude, so he and I have some collab pieces out there. Me and Silver Dragons. This right here is a piece by Jaeger Poured Silver. So really, really cool person to do work with. If you are somebody out there that wants to do a collab, Jaeger Poured Silver is a great, easy source to do a collab with. So I think less than 40 of these exist out there. So really, really cool little piece. This is the number 1. Each one will be numbered. And oh yeah, and then the Speg Standard that just came out very recently. So as of right now, only 100 of these are in existence. I've fingerprinted this one up on purpose because I'm kind of curious how it looks after it tones up a little bit. So I'm going to let it fingerprint up and get nasty, and I just kind of want to see what it looks like. So I'm purposely doing this right here. But yeah, as of right now, only 100 of these will exist. And this is a take off of the old Engelhard made bars for the Gold Standard Company. And I thought it was just a fun little piece right there. So, but I've made many different things. There's, as you can see, there's a mouse pads here. There's a big, huge mouse pad that I use for my backdrop here. Plenty of different stickers exist out there with my logo. Just, it's just fun for the channel to have this kind of stuff. And there's so many other things too. Buttons, temporary tattoos. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to think of all those things. Patches. Stickers galore, pouches, keychains. Oh my goodness, I'm so weird. But yeah, anyways, if you see some of this stuff out there, oh shoot, I forgot about this. So I actually had a die specifically made because if you haven't noticed, on my logo, if you can see it right there, it actually says 999 Fine Silver. And I'm not gonna be able to zoom, but it's 999 Fine Silver on that little banner right there. So I was like, I would love to stamp into gold. The only problem is it says 999 Fine Silver on my logo. So I had a special stamp made just for if I had to stamp into gold. So this right here actually says 999 Fine Gold on it. And this is the only piece of gold I have ever stamped thus far with my logo. I wanted to make it kind of looking like a little bit sort of like a nugget-ish, like a flat nugget. Gold is a very interesting metal to work with. I thought it was going to be a lot softer than it was. I don't think it's incredibly soft. You always hear that, oh, gold's so soft. Not really. It's still a metal. It's pretty hardy. There's not a lot of problems with that thing being soft. But yeah, there's lots of stuff out there, and I thought this was a nice little trip down memory lane. Sometimes you may see some of my COAs. They may be just, just a piece of little cardboard. Sometimes they may actually have plastic around them, and that is just, I was like, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and just seal these ones up and laminate these. And so the wife helps me do that because she's really good at cutting things like that. What else? Oh, here's a neat thing. So only 2 of these are in existence right here, these Coin Guy acrylics, and this came from Okie Stacker, and he made these right here. I think he was trying to make them in a way that was like, hey, like maybe we can make more of these, but it's such an expensive thing, and nothing against Okie Stacker. It's just, I was like, I don't know if people are going to want to buy those, So I thought it was very interesting though. But yeah, so Coin Guy should have one of these if he hasn't sold it, and I have one. So bada bang. Bada boom. What else can I talk about? The die making things, very, very expensive, crazy expensive on those. In order to make the die for this piece right here, I think it was $900 and something. This die right here was a little bit cheaper. I think it was $650-ish. But the silver cost is very expensive, and all the different costs and everything are so high. And so actually, whenever I sell one of these bars, after the PayPal fees, I end up making $4.25 on the community. And so when you think about being in business and you make $4.25 off of something where your money was tied up for months, you're like, wow, what a waste of time. But I sometimes I enjoy just making stuff for the community, just to have something out there with my logo on it, something that people can buy and be like, oh yeah, boom, there's my Spegtacular piece, whatever the case. It's just fun, And so, some of these pieces right here, the amount of work that I put into some of these pieces, I never get back. I lose pieces of my life in each one of these pieces, and I don't get, nearly what it costs to, tear my body up to make these things. But I think it's fun. People like the poured silver a lot. Like this piece right here. This piece took me every bit of 2 hours to make. It was an extremely hard piece to make. And I was joking on a stream saying I don't think I could ever sell it because I'd want $100 for it because it's just so much work. But I know nobody's going to pay $100 for it, so I'm going to have to end up, if I do want to ever sell it to people, it's going to have to be for less. Again, another piece right here. It took me about 2 hours just to make this stinking piece, all time considered. It's a lot of work, ladies and gentlemen. But anyways, it's a labor of love, labor of getting some stuff out there. Some people are probably thinking, oh, this stuff is just all dumb. And I totally understand. You're just not into it. It's something that I just thought was cool. A little trip down memory lane. If you're curious about something out there, a couple of these too. Excuse me. A couple of these actually exist. And these are, I don't want to say that they're scents, but let's just say that they are something that I was able to press. All right, there, as you can see, I don't want to say the words, you know what I mean? In case anybody professional is listening. But yeah. A few of these exist out there, and these are just for fun. I don't sell these. I just kind of give them away here and there. But yeah, bada bing. Anyways, I got to go for now. Appreciate you for watching. Nobody's watched this far. It's fine. Spegtacular is out.
Well, hello, everybody. I seek to educate and entertain through my journey of collecting coins and stacking precious metals. I encourage you to subscribe, and please stay with me on this journey. I am Spegtacular, the Silver Stacular.
When I was a kid, we did this every day in school, and I believe we need to bring this back a little bit, and I'm going to start right now. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.